Welcome everybody to what kind of top have you got on today? Oh, that's the all-seeing eye. Oh, the Illuminati. Actually, fantastic. I've got so many t-shirts in there I brought back from Bali. I just grab whatever as the top one, and it's actually perfect. Look at all them eyes. What is that all about? Well, what is the Illuminati? We ask ourselves. What does that mean? What do they do? Who are they? It's really interesting. The topic of conversation today is related to that. The topic of conversation today is it's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. In one way or another, we are all part of it, and we all create it. Ooh, really? Yeah. I'm having a hot chocolate with you on a day where it's 36 degrees. It's actually cacao. It's a ceremonial cacao. So you're joining me in a ceremonial cacao. I guess it's a one-to-one, just me and you. So come on then, let's get into it. What did you learn? What do you know? Where did you learn this from? Who did you speak to understand this? And how did you get it? Well, we've all heard of the secret, right? This idea of that you put a thought out there and eventually the universe creates it. I've had my sort of disputes with that in so many ways, and there were certain reasons for it. I watched some clients struggle with it. Some clients threw the book away and said it just doesn't work. So, and a lot of clients saying that I'm not doing it right and I'm a failure. So let's kind of start from the very beginning of where I learned about this. There were a couple of lovely guys that I met once, way back when I started this journey. And they talked to me about mass hypnosis. And it's very relevant to this conversation, honestly. And then they talked about it on a one-to-one level and how those that held the knowledge, the information, and trust me, they do, they suppress that very same information and knowledge upon the world. I mean, if you are a tyrant, if you are greedy, if you are subhuman, if you are of we are better than you and you are simply flies and ants on the floor, then they're not going to share with you any of that knowledge and information. And you know what I want to say to you guys? When you mock and laugh at people like me who talk about this kind of thing, those very people who are in the higher echelons of power and the ones that you look up to and bow down to and think they're amazing, trust me when I say that everything that we talk about, they do daily. You think that they studied at college, then they went to get a degree, and then they started a business in a garage and became multimillionaires. Let me tell you guys, these people have passed down from generation to generation ancient knowledge which has been burnt or taken away from you. So when you watch your mainstream TV, when you listen to World Health Organization, when you study CERN and think, wow, these scientists from all over the world, let me tell you guys, everything that we do, they know exactly how to do it, but 10 times, 100 times better. And they've done it in a way that they now change the world by manipulating the world. So how this happens is when you look through ancient scrolls and it tells you about placing thought into somebody and that thought manifesting, there is absolute 100% truth in that. For me, the most strongest manifestation is the energy that you put most focus on. And what is that? I bet it ain't happiness. I bet it ain't a beautiful life. I bet it's misery. I bet it's deep sorrow. I bet it's sickness. I bet you it's I'm not good enough. I bet you is I'll never be as good as them or as rich as them or this and that. I bet you it's the most negative thoughts that most of you hold. deep down, you are filled with fear. Now, that's no coincidence, because if you speak to 1 million people, I guess out of 1 million, if I'm conservative about it, I would say 99% would err on the side of fear and low vibration thought, and 1% vibrate at joy and love. And I don't even believe that 1% vibrate at that for longer than an hour or two a day. So imagine, let's put it in simple terms. Imagine you've received information from your great grandfather, and this information is so powerful that it's never read in schools. It's mocked and ridiculed. Anybody who does tarot, anybody who does attunement, anybody who looks up at the stars, anybody who does natural, anybody who does manifestation, anybody who does astral travel, anybody who believes in this, mocked and ridiculed by the very people who make you mock and ridicule everybody. And yet they're the masters of that. Why? Just because of what I said to you. They've mastered it that well that their lives are absolutely powerful, and they have everything that they want, and they are the master manipulators. Why? Because they've taken this ancient knowledge and used it in a way that if you hold a deck of cards, you can use them in a positive way and you can use them in a negative way. Just like anything, you have a beautiful mind, but you can use it in a positive way and you can use it in a negative way. It's up to you. That's free will. But I tell you what, somebody's influencing you day by day by saying everything is going to go wrong. We've got climate change coming. We've got another virus coming. We've got another war coming. It could be possible that there's no more water. It could be possibility that we have to drown out the sun. There's a possibility that the food's going to be, there's going to be a shortage of food. And then you know, when you put that out, as they do every day, 24 hours a day, there's a two-level prong to this. One is that they want you to start to think this because they know that the power is within you. It's basically a voodoo spell. It's black magic, but it's on a level beyond our understanding because they control the world. So if they can control your thoughts, then that thought they know is a powerful energy that will create exactly what they're asking for. That's why anything on the mainstream media, when they say, it's breaking news, just finish it. Just stop it there and say, no, it's not, it's bullshit. See you later. Okay? Anything that is of relevance and truth is, you don't need fear to sell it. If you've got something beautiful to say, you don't need to scream and shout and with fear. They only do that because they want your attention. And it's not that really. When you're lying, you need to back that up with fear. So they need to scare you so then you don't think about the lie. You just believe the lie. It's so much easier to manipulate you with negative thoughts and feelings. So it's the end of the world soon. So if you don't do this and all of the, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world. So we're creating the end of the world. It goes down to the next level where you've got Hollywood movies. The Hollywood stars, whether they know it or not, participate in the biggest mind mess there is. But that mind mess is there to control and also for you to produce energy that creates the very nature of the beast. It's true. You know, just click on Netflix and watch Strange Things. You've got the whole of the world watching it, and thus they create it. You create anything what your mind says. You can create disaster. You can create, and here's a good one, you can create illness in your body. The one thing we know about the body temple is that a clear mind is a clear body. Ask yourself, have you got a clear mind today? What are you thinking about? What are you thinking about when you woke up? What are you thinking about when you had your breakfast? What were you thinking about up until this moment? I will bet they're not as positive as mine. Or maybe they are, and you're one of the lucky ones who have learned how to clear the bullshit, the lies and the manipulations. And all I say to you is congratulations, well done. Guess where you are? You're at the level of these psychopaths, but in a good way. The psychopaths know that they need to clear their mind, and their objective is to hypnotize you, convince you that bad things are going to happen. Once your mind is filled with that, your body follows, because your body only listens to what your mind says. Your body confirms and reaffirms everything what your mind says. Okay, I'll do what you said. What's that? Feel bad. Okay, well, I'll feel bad then. So your body will absolutely do what your mind says. Why do you think people repeat mantras all the time? Do you think it's because it's the words? Do you think because you're speaking to gods? It's because you're speaking to yourself. You're telling your mind all the time what you want to think. And there is some truth in that. You keep repeating it, eventually, what we hope as healers, because most people speak and say nothing. Most people listen and hear nothing. But at that moment, some of you might recognize this, because I said it because I only learned a few years ago. If you remember, I was getting tortured by my first mentor. And I was crying in a seat, in a smaller room than this. I'd just gone on the internet and saw what she put out there and said about me. And I just thought to myself, it can't get any worse. This can't get any worse. And I'd just been to see a shaman who told me it's all finished and gone. And I said, what? Nothing else now? He said, nothing. So I goes back, switched computer on, looked at the time. She'd just posted something horrific about 2 minutes before I went online. So that didn't work. All the things that all the spiritual people were telling me to do this, take a name, put it in water, freeze it, blah, 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 do this, do that. Have you got any jewellery of hers? Have you got anything what belongs to her? Throw it away. Tried all them things, didn't work. It was nothing to do with that. She was just going through a bad time, and it was my moment to learn. And I so thank her for all of that. Thank you for making me the strength that I am. Just like I thank my dad for abusing me. Thank you for making me who I am. Thank you for everybody who punched me in the face at school. Every single bully. Thank you. You've made me who I am. You created Mark Bajerski. You helped to create me, so thank you. Without you, I don't know who I'd be. I remember I was so lost. I was married, and I was happily married. I got a beautiful daughter, but I was so lost in the fear of what people are going to think about me. Nobody's ever really said anything bad about me in my life, really. Nobody's ever, done silly things, like went on blind date and, stuff like that. Did silly things, but never hurt anybody. And nobody, jealousy, yes, every month there was jealousy, but I was used to that. I'm talking about somebody really being horrible and saying the most evil things. So I remember, and I sat there, right, and I was crying, and I'm like, I started asking, right? I started asking, and like I said, there's truth in TV and movies. There's truth in there as well. There's always the yin and the yang, and I don't know where it came from. I believe it was the spirit world, and I believe it was my mum. That's what I truly believe, but I'm not 100% sure. But it hit me like a ton of bricks. At that moment, I was told to put my hand on my heart and on my head and repeat the words that I remember from a film called The Labyrinth. I don't know if it was the exact words, but it said, "No one has the power over you." So I started repeating it, and I kept saying it, and I kept saying it. And because I was in that pain, I didn't really understand what I was saying, until all of a sudden, like something just came over me. It was like instant peace. And it was like somebody just pulled a handle of a fruit machine and bar came. And it was like a penny drop moment, that instant nirvana, instant power came over me, and I realized that the power came because I realized what I was saying, but not just realized what I was saying, I actually meant what I said. Now think about that. I was awake to what I was saying. Most of us don't even know. Most of us are just waiting until somebody stops speaking so we can speak. But we don't really know what we're saying anyway. We think we know what we're saying, but really we don't. Most of us. It's true. We just to talk, to fill in the empty space. But at this moment, the empty space became infinity and everything. It was so profound that my tears changed to tears of joy. And I realized that no one has the power over you became my mantra in a way that healed me. Because nobody has the power over you. Nobody has the power over me unless I let them. And I realized at that moment I'd let my teacher have the power over me by believing that they have the power over me. That's why I make videos about voodoo witchcraft. They only have the power when you believe in their power over yours. So when I did that, my life changed. I could have saved myself a fortune. That shaman just cost me €200, like never worked. But this worked, and guess what I did? I shared it with you guys. And some people said, I don't know what you're freaking talking about. I've tried it, it didn't work. I'm like, but did you really truly mean what you said? Did anything drop? Was there a penny drop moment when you realized that this message is that you are the power? You are the answer. Nobody can touch you unless you let them. No one has the power over me. Excuse me, I didn't burp. Then, but wow, my God, guys. So when you realize that the ancients knew all of these things, and they put them into films like The Labyrinth, just at the end when, I can't remember the girl's name, and the wizard behind him, the bad wizard behind, was stealing her power all the time, wouldn't let her go home, and, you know, kept her running around till she figured it out herself. And she figured it out, and she says, you have no power over me. And the wizard just smashed to bits and went, and everything came back to normal again, because literally it's an illusion. So you imagine that these are the higher echelons in the sense of knowing this ancient wisdom uses it against us. So we are in the labyrinth. We're chasing our tail, running around, doing all these things, just like the little lady, picking bits and pieces. Oh, look what I've got here, love. Look at this. Isn't this lovely? Oh, look at this. Distraction, 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 distraction from the truth. And she's like, I don't want all of them things. And she gets closer to the truth. Because the labyrinth is basically a metaphor for what they do to us. Hello, come in, have a cup of tea. That was a worm. A great film. But if you watch it, you realise that the message in that film is profound. Profound. So let's get back to the original conversation, which was TV is putting thoughts into your mind to then you to create what they want. Think about that. You are actually helping the very people that you know are controlling the world. No, I'm not. All right. Why don't you just go and sit down and think about it? These people who want to create a negative energy, guess who's creating a negative energy? Anybody in this room? Tracy, Sharon, Mr. Bajerski, have you created negative energy these past 4 years? Yeah, a little. Why is that? Because of everything on television, because of everybody around me. Oh, so you're blaming television, are you? Yeah, of course I am, not blaming myself. Oh, you're blaming other people, are you? Yeah, it's all their fault. All right, okay. So we're not going to get very far, are we? If all you're doing is blaming everybody else and everything else, what do you think the answer is then? Stop blaming them and stop blaming everybody else, and maybe realize that it's up to me and it's my fault if I do that. Very good. So what are you going to do with that now that you know that? I'm going to think about it a little bit more and try and realize that all I keep doing is blaming everybody else. So maybe every time I blame somebody else, I'll start to think about it more and stop myself from blaming everybody else, and maybe change my thought process so that I don't blame anybody and become stronger and not let everybody else affect me, and not let the hypnotizers of TV and mainstream and AI take over me. Very good. When are you going to start? Monday. No, not Monday. Start now. Yeah, start Monday. Bit of chocolate. Just have a bit of chocolate. We'll start Monday. Start Monday. Start Monday. Why don't you start now? Because just got to finish this chocolate bar and we'll start Monday. So now that you know this, now that we've had this lovely chat together about how they brainwash us, how they hypnotize us every day, and how they hypnotize your friends, your family, your neighbors, strangers, and then they come to you with their hypnotism, their brainwashing, just like you and me, and we get pulled into it again. And thus it gets stronger and stronger. To change that matrix, to change the spell, to change the hypnosis, to change the programming, you have to be the one to change it. You have to say, no one has the power over me, and then you change it all. You will get times like I do that you'll start to have this mindset of a creeping up of, we should care. Why don't you care? You'll get loads of feelings of guilt because you're not doing what you used to do. And the way to reinforce that, and I try and do this often, is by saying every time I do something positive, every time I tell a joke, every time I make somebody laugh, every time I share knowledge of how to heal and strengthen your body, that is worth 100,000 messages of we should fight back. So I still have that day to day where, Mark's off on one today because, a pothole's just appeared again. And I'm like, stop, there's a pothole there, please don't go into it. Stop, there's a pothole there, please don't go into it. I don't want you to get hurt. So I make videos to try and help people see, again, what the hypnosis of the mainstream and the new alternative media is pushing on us to believe. And I do that because I fall every day for it, because it's so clever. And we want to believe because we don't want to not believe. We're good people and we want to trust and believe somebody. I do that. I don't start off with, look mate, I don't believe a freaking word you're saying, right? But in time, if I get to know you well enough, I might start to believe. I don't want to live like that. I want to say I believe in you being a good person up until you're not a good person. And when you're not a good person, see you later. There's 8 billion people in the world. I ain't speaking to you again because you're not a good person. And I'm not going to be a punch bag for you. I'm not going to be your, toy to manipulate. So I want to still believe. That's part of my consciousness. So I don't go around in fear, not at all. No one has the power over me. I go around with an open heart, and I give, and I'm kind, and I'm caring. And if you're back that way to me, then you've got a friend for life. If you are a deceiver, if you're somebody who's coming to me because you want something and need something, because you see me as either a free meal ticket, or you think I'm the savior or a hero. See you later. I'm not. I'm sorry that you come to me as an equal, like I'm an equal to you, and that's it. The need and the wants go away. Nobody wants to. I mean, do you want to meet somebody who's just constantly needy all the time? Work on yourself. Fix your needy. Clear the needy. Fix your wants. Because once you've got everything you want inside, once you've got everything that you understand in life, you don't want anything. You don't need anything from anybody, because you are all that you need. If you're needy and you want something, it means that there's a hole in there. You've got a problem. You've got trauma. You've got issues. You've got fears. They ain't mine, and I can't fix you, and nobody can. So you need to go and sort yourself out, like I did. It was hard. I cried a lot. I looked at myself in the mirror a lot, and I changed the way I was to become the stronger. And I got a lot of help from teachers who whacked me and bashed me, through strangers who grabbed me and wanted to kill me because people said I was evil because my teacher told them. I had lots of issues at the beginning, but it made me stronger. There's spirit in the house. There ain't no DJ in the house, but there's spirit in the house. And I could just feel it walk through. It's a good spirit, by the way. So this is a spirit that's come forward about somebody on here who's lost it feels like they've lost their mum. Anyway, by the by, sometimes spirit comes through to want me to share a message, but I retired. Go to your medium. There's loads of them out there. So, yeah, I mean, once we recognize that those that know the secrets, those that study the stars, right, and then mock those that study the stars, those that use cards or connect to the higher selves, that they do, but they connect to the demonic. We connect to love and healing. Why? Because we can feel the difference. And demonic, when it comes anywhere near a good person, you feel like you're being beaten up with a sledgehammer. You feel like you're angry. You feel like you want to hurt somebody. That's demonic energy. You feel like somebody's saying nasty things, so you have to say nasty. You have to, no. You know the difference. If you're ever healing somebody who's got attachments, you can feel that energy when you're near them and you're working on them. Think, wow, I can understand what you're going through. I went through being connected with my wife then's mother's best friend, and her best friend, her son died, and he came into me, and he wasn't a pleasant person, and he was trapped in between two worlds. He came into me for me to give her a message. I was fighting with him. I had to go to Shirley. She's on my wall. She passed away, bless her. But Shirley was one of my mentors, and I had to go to Shirley, and she cleansed that all away. And I learned a lot from that. I'm like, okay, now I understand why I had to go through this. And, you know, I had 3 healers on me cleaning this trap spirit away. And it went, and I was going to give up that day. I was giving up. I wasn't doing it again. I thought there's better things to do than feeling like this and going through that. I was literally swearing at everybody. And I don't swear. And I was telling them to F off. I was saying awful words like, they knew it was a spirit, and it was a not a good spirit. And they used sage, they were praying, they would use prayers. And then it went after about, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 minutes, something like that. I can't remember. But then it went, and I sat outside, and I said, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing this. And she explained to me, you know, what could be more beautiful than experiencing it, knowing that one day you're going to be able to help people because you've been through the experience. I kind of wonder sometimes to myself when people, you know, don't understand it but yet do it, meaning that they try and help people clear entity and they've never actually been through it. They've just been taught how to do it, but they've never. But I think those who truly understand it, the ones who have had it inside them, that spirit, that you realize there's a separation between two, and it's great. Once you've had that and you've cleared it, you recognize it more, that hey, this isn't me. These are like demonic, or these I used to call it, because I didn't ever like to talk about that, because it wasn't important. Why? Because there wasn't hardly any of it about. People were more, the world was different then. It was only starting to get a little bit crazy, but now it's a different world. There is more attachments, there's more demonic energies, there's more bad energies everywhere that are attaching to people. There's more sick people, which is like, oh my God, it's like nectar to entities, attachments, and trap spirit. They're all over people who are sick, because that's why they're always in hospitals. That's why they're always in prisons. That's, you know, it's that place. They're in nightclubs, they're in bars, because people are drunk or people are on drugs, and they attach to that energy because you're not balanced and you're not your beautiful self. When you've been through that, it's so much easier to understand how to clear entities. So much easier how to clear the demonic energies. So much easier. And yet people write these big stories about, you know, Hollywood and The Exorcist, and you know, and all the trauma and drama and the Hollywood glitz of you know, floating bodies and necks turning around and your neck will turn around full twirl and then it'll come back again and you'll be okay. Of course it will. Yeah, Hollywood guys. But you do know when there is attachments that things do, you're not your normal self. You do things that you wouldn't normally do because you're fighting something that's inside you. Your consciousness is fighting. If your consciousness isn't connected to your bodysuit, you're going to struggle. And that's why they want to separate your consciousness as far from your bodysuit as possible. They want to cage you so that entity can come in and be the driving force, the controlling force of your body. And there's lots of people being controlled now. Lots of people are hearing voices. Lots of people are saying things that they would not have said. Lots of people are thinking things that they would never have thought of, because they're not your thoughts. There is attachments and it's happening, and that's why you have to be healthy, and that's why you have to clear your thoughts, and that's why you've got to think happy thoughts, and you've got to say to yourself, my body temple is clean. I said it this morning. I was in the car driving. I had a little bit of a toothache up here. It was in my gums, and I kept saying, my gums are so healthy. My gums are so strong. My gums are really, really strong. Within a few hours, like, no pain at all. It's gone. My foot was broken. My ankle was snapped off. It was like, nobody said, the nurses were like, the doctor was like, and, you know, when they'd finished, when the doctor, an amazing guy fixing bones, did it, he just said to me, look, Mark, that it was so bad that it's going to take a long time. You might not be able to climb any mountains. You certainly won't be skiing. And within 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks maximum, I was doing exercises. All the silly thing that was holding it together was all off. I was training. I was using beautiful oils. I was speaking to it with love and strength, and I was telling my body that I'm perfect. And I climbed a mountain the other day. I can do anything on my foot. It's perfect. My foot's perfect. So your thoughts create healing. They really do. So when people used to come into my healing studio, I used to say, come on, let's get you healed and strengthened and out again. Let's just clear that away, because that's the truth. Let's not get too involved in what your issue is, but let's get involved with how to strengthen you up and get you out of there so you're feeling great. And that never let me down. And that's why I was busy all the time, because I didn't buy into the bullshit. I didn't buy into what you told me. It wasn't even important, because I knew my job was already completed. It was fixed. Oh, that's a bit egoistic. No, it's not. You think somebody comes to me because they hear about me? They come to me because their family and spirit world have brought them here in that room, because something I'm offering, which is coming through me and going to them, is what they need. So the job's done already. So just lie down, let's get on with it, and see you later. And I was packed. Ask anybody who used to come to try and book in with me. I was packed. Why? Because the job was being done. They weren't words spoken. And I loved everybody who walked through that door, and I was so grateful, and I loved what I was doing. I learned so much, and I guess I'm here and now sharing that with you out of love, sat here when I could be at the beach. I could be at the farm, but I'm not. Every day I'm here. I'm sharing my knowledge. I'm sharing every spiritual tool that I use that helped me, my oils, my incense, my crystals, everything that helped my clients, I share with you. I don't ask you to buy anything from me. I share what I sell and say I've got this, but I never ask, oh, that's a bit expensive. I didn't ask you to buy it. Go to a crystal store and buy one there. I encourage people to go to crystal stores because I'm always in crystal stores. I love them. And I'm thankful for the people who open and are still open. You don't like something, you're not happy with a price, just go and buy from somebody else. Stop being mean. This is the work that I do. I work differently with crystals. But then again, I kind of listen and I think, okay, what can I do to change this? How can I change the mindset of people who just are angry all the time at whatever I do? Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, it's this, it's that. It's like, hey, this is my work. And then I thought this morning, maybe I'll start another site, or maybe I'll add to markbajerski.com chosen crystals. I'll just choose crystals. I won't work on them. I'll just choose them. And then I'll put them on the website at the price of what you would find in a crystal shop. Do you think that will make any difference? I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure if you would even buy them off me because you're just having a go anyway. You just want to have a go. So I don't know, but I will try it. I'll listen and I will try that. But I put a lot of love into my crystals, like my oils. There's a lot of love. If I said to you, come and work in my garden for 30 hours, right? Have you done your 30 hours? Here's 30 euros. What would you say to that? I wonder what you would say to that. The ones who say my products are too expensive, I wonder what would you say to that? What, I've just done 30 hours and you pay me €1 an hour, £1 an hour. Well, yeah, that's what I add on top for my crystals. So I buy the crystal at what it is after getting them sent over to Bali and back again. And they're done beautiful with beautiful people. I put 20 hours, 30 hours into them. Sometimes I'll put 50 and 100 hours into them. And I add €1 an hour. That's it. That's always been my business model. Always. So would you do that? Would you work for me for 30 hours? Yeah, of course you would. For 30 euros, of course you would, yeah. You'd be the first person to say it's not enough money. But there you go. What do? You just do your best. And actually, I'm so privileged and thankful for repeat clients who come every week or every month and resupply. I've got, I don't know, maybe 50,000 clients who are practicing healers or mums and dads who work with the oils and incense and crystals daily. So, I know who care and who truly believe in my work and what I put into them. Just like Dr. Emoto confirmed it. When I was working with crystals at the same time that people were coming to me and saying, have you heard of Dr. Emoto? And I'm like, no. Well, he's doing exactly what you're doing. And I'm like, oh, what kind of healer is he? He's not a healer. I'm like, well, what is he then? He's a scientist. He's proving that when you put love and healing into water, it changes and looks amazing. And if you put nastiness and anger into it, it kind of looks distorted. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I kind of agree, not wholeheartedly agree, because with crystals, I've never seen a bad formation or felt anything negative from people who are negative. I've seen it transmute and transform into love, but I've never seen anything. But I do understand that when you put good energy into it, it's the memory that holds in there. That's my understanding through my work as a scientist, every day working with crystals. So I've worked with them for 2 decades now. Never seen anything to contradict that at all. And I work with thousands of crystals. And a lot of these crystals, of course, come from different parts of the world, and we hope. And when I buy from my buyers, they come from good places where they're not slave labor, and it's fair trade. So you can only do your best. You don't know. You can believe, and you can study it. You can go online and have a look. Okay, that's from Pune, India. There's two mines there, and there, two mountains, and they're all working hard, and it doesn't look that bad, and they're doing the okay, cool, feels lovely. I don't feel negative energy from somebody who said, well, that's been mined from somewhere else, and it's not very good. It's not. I didn't feel the pain and suffering or anything, and that was like 10 or 15 years ago when I was working with Tim, and Tim was going to these places and saying it's not so good here, but this is a beautiful crystal. I'm like, I don't feel anything bad or heavy here. So clients who came to me with really, really negative energy, and they were wearing crystals around the neck, can you charge this up? And I'm like, I don't feel anything negative. You're feeling negative, but the crystal feels actually like it's really helping you. But if you want me to charge it, put good energy into it, then let me take it off, lie down, place a crystal on you, give healing, put your hand over the crystal. The energy that flows through you through your hands into the client is also going into the crystal. Then you put the crystal around them and they go, oh my God, that crystal feels amazing. Yeah, because he's had added memory of pure energy. And once you realize that, then you can understand why my crystals are different, because I put pure energy healing into them. It might be 10 hours, it might be 20 hours, it might be 30 hours. I might have 10 crystals at a time in one hand, 20 in the other hand. I might have 50, but I'll work with them for hours. So my crystals are different, and there might be people out there. I know Yanni is one of them. I interviewed him not so long back. He's a pure energy healer, and he does the same. He works with crystals, one-offs, and he puts energy into them, and he's a beautiful soul. And I advocate everybody to do that, even you. So I've often said, and I do it out of like what I've learned is like, when you're happy, as soon as you're happy, grab hold of the crystal. Okay, so right now I've got stilbite. I've got a piece of stilbite around my neck, and it's a very special one. It's been pointing at you since I've been doing the video. Can you see that pointer there? It's pointing right at you. Really special piece, this. So this piece is a one-off, and the reason why is because the stilbite is there, but yet there's this beautiful quartz, like, boom, straight at you. So you're wearing this, the stilbite is doing its work around you, but it's also pointing at you, so it's giving you like a laser beam of energy. So in fact, yeah, anyway, this is the way I work. I work differently from other people, and if you're a crystal shop owner, you're going to be different from me unless you have a healing room and you're working with crystals all day long for the past 2 decades. Then I'd understand that they understand this form of work, this form of pure energy going into the crystal. You only understand it if you do it. If you don't do it, it's going to be difficult for you to understand completely. But the one thing that I can say is that the confirmation comes from clients. So it wasn't the case of, oh, I'm going to do this work and I'm going to make €1 on like I used to be a businessman, and I was a good businessman. You think I'd work for €1 an hour? I'd do it because, okay, I'll do the energy healing. While I'm doing it, I'm getting paid from my client after a healing session. But if I lay certain crystals on them for an hour, and then I've got 7 clients a day, that's 7 hours. I got this like tree, this metal tree with branches where I used to hang the crystals on. So the first one was 10 hours, 20 hours, 30 hours, and I'd go up to like 50 hours. And then when I've got up to here, then that crystal will be ready. And clients would say, I'm coming. Like, what are you coming for? To buy another crystal for my sister. Your crystals are amazing. Like, okay. And that's how it was organic. It wasn't, I've got an idea, let's open a corporation and let's become rich. It was like, if you know anything about me, shame on you for saying nasty things, because you don't know anything about me. And the fact that you're saying nasty things shows you know nothing about me. So, all out of love and all out of organic. And I don't need to say these things, to be fair, because the company is extremely successful. We are successful in ways that you couldn't imagine. We get messages daily that would blow you away, that would blow companies away that wished, only dreamed of these kind of testimonials when crystals, oils and incense are sent to them and something amazing happened to them. I've got thousands and thousands and thousands of testimonials that I never share. Never. I've got folders of miracles, but I don't go around and talk about these things. That's what success means. So through the love of putting pure energy healing into crystals, oils and my incense, the proof is in your clients. So there you go. So let's create it. You are abundant. You are powerful. You are stronger than the hypnosis that is around us at any given moment. You are joyful. You are love. You are pure inside power, strength, warrior, lion. You are healthy. You are well. You are magnificent. Say it, repeat it, and finally, no one has the power over you. Take care.